So what about so looking ahead now, England, Ukraine? It might not be as easy what people feel. England, the youth have got in that squad now is fantastic. And they're talking about, is this Gareth's last, major tournament who's going to take over? Any idea who you'd like to see take over? If Gareth, after the Euros, done well and said, that's it, I'm bowing out at the top?
For me, I'd love probably Eddie Howe. I know he's got a project that he's in the middle of at Newcastle at the minute. Pep would be probably, everyone's
Gabby,
first choice. If he has another great season at City, you never know how his thinking will be after that. But for me, someone like Eddie Howe or Pep would be amazing.
You mentioned Jurgen, didn't you? Jurgen Klopp.
No, I think Danny Murphy and Simon Jordan were talking about Jurgen Klopp, and Danny Murphy was like, you can't have a German, the manager of England. But I think some people, like, we're desperate for a trophy, aren't we, to win a World Cup or Euros? I think a lot of people wouldn't mind, would they?
No, I agree, but I think, from the success that Gareth's had over the last few years, I think they'd like to keep the manager British, if I'm being honest, going forward. I was never in the squads under Capello, and hearing how it was then to how it is now in terms of the atmosphere, it's apparently night and day. So I don't think they'd be in a rush to go down that route of going foreign again. I don't think.
The headmaster. I come down in my flip flops, my first squad.
Yeah,
he's gonna Gabby change upstairs off. I'm like, what? All the boys are laughing at me. He's like, flip flops off, trainers socks.
Yeah,
I walked upstairs with my head down, got my trainers on, come down, the boys just laughing their heads off.
Yeah. I heard from Ben Foster's obviously had a story to tell about how it was under Capello, and I spoke to Aaron Lennon and Carol Walker when they was involved, and by the sounds of it, it wasn't too enjoyable back then. No. So I think that knowing Gareth and his boss John McDermott, I think that ideally like to keep the manager English or British going forward.
What do you make of this game in Glasgow coming up? And obviously the big one's Ukraine, but then they go up 150 years, Scotland versus England. It's going to be fierce atmosphere. It's going to be a typical British game.
Yeah, I think...
you played in one, haven't you?
Yeah, I think that was Gareth's first game, and we played at Wembley, and we won 3-0, so...
What?
Yeah, and...
Was that during COVID or something? Were we hit badly?
And, that's the best atmosphere I've played in an England game, and I always wanted to experience the away fixture, and I think I was injured, when the lads last went up there. So for me, I'm, looking forward to it, and I can imagine the atmosphere will be brilliant again.
A quick one on Raheem. Listen, Gareth's got he's got his ideas, hasn't he? He left Maddison out for a while and Jack. Now it's Raheem. I'm baffled why Raheem's not in that squad.
So am I. I didn't know until I spoke to a friend last week that Raheem wasn't in it, and I've seen Rio Ferdinand's comments, and at first I sort of think it's a bit extreme, what he said, but thinking about it, you can understand where Rio's coming from. And if I was Raheem, I'd be very unhappy that he's not involved at the minute. But knowing Gareth, he would have called him and explained his reasons why. But for me, Raheem should definitely be in it.
He's a sparkling player, isn't he?
Yeah, especially for England. Raheem, after probably Harry, Raheem's in the next group of players that I'd put first name down on a team sheet. So
how good was he in Euros? He was the one that was carrying us in the Euros in outstanding form.
Yeah, he's frightening, and I just can't believe that he's not involved in this next camp.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Alan Brazil, Thursday and Friday morning 6 till 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.